Peace and welcome to the culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Folks, we got a lot to talk about. First and foremost, I'm going to share with you what a GOP presidential candidate says about Juneteenth and how it goes completely against his own interests. Folks, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Also, we got to talk about money matters for your home and business. I'm going to be checking in with finance expert Betty Hines to give us the latest on how we can make sure that we can save in uncertain times. We'll have that discussion. And then later on for the big culture convo, let's talk about what happened at the Montgomery riverboat brawl that got the whole country talking. I'm going to bring you the latest in that development of that case, what the police are planning to do. And then later on, let's talk a little bit about National Black Business Month. This is August, so we're celebrating National Black Businesses and how we can continue to support our own. So stay with us. It's all happening on today's edition of The Culture here on the Black Star Network. Let's go. All right, folks. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Folks, let's jump right in because we got a lot to cover. First and foremost, let's talk about GOP political candidate, presidential candidate, Mr. Vivek Ramaswamy. Mr. Ramaswamy is running for office of president on the GOP side, and he had some things to say about the holiday, the new holiday of Juneteenth. Take a look.
We will make Election Day a holiday in the United States of America, so there's no complaints about it. Cancel Juneteenth or one of the other useless ones we made up. Okay, we can't have like everything be a holiday, but we'll cancel one of the other ones and make Election Day a holiday. Paper ballots and government issued voter ID that matches the voter file. That is what we will do.
Going back to your election security plan, you said you wanted to have a holiday. You said maybe cancel Juneteenth or one of the other useless holidays. Do you think Juneteenth is a useless holiday?
I basically do. Yeah.
Do you think Memorial Day, Veterans Day are useless holidays?
I don't, because I stand with the presumption of time-tested traditions. Like I said, religion is, I call these things cults. I won't dignify them as religions because religions have withstood the test of time. And so I think that if we made a national commemorative holiday for everything that's important and happened in our history, we'd have no working days left. But I think the spirit of Juneteenth, we already channeled into other holidays, like Martin Luther King Day, like President's Day. I think we can commemorate the spirit of that holiday separately. So I think that we shouldn't have redundant holidays that celebrate overlapping purposes. It should have a distinct purpose. And I think, let's be honest, the reason for making that a holiday was under political duress. It was a political hostage situation on the back of the death of George Floyd. And I think that should not be how we create holidays. We should not create holidays with a cultural gun to our head. And that's what happened with Juneteenth.
All right, crew. I would love to hear what you got to say as Mr. Ramaswamy, who is a political GOP presidential candidate, has made it clear that if he becomes president, one, he would make Election Day a national holiday, but then two, that he would probably just completely shut down, cancel Juneteenth. Now, what's your take on this, folks? Join us in the conversation as we're streaming live on major platforms, including YouTube. Just go to Roland Martin's YouTube page and post your comments. Join us as part of today's culture crew, and I would love to hear what you have to say about this. Also, we're streaming live on blackstarnetwork.com, Amazon News on your Roku TV, as well as Facebook. So, folks, let's jump right into it. I would love to hear what you have to say Yeah. So here's the. I think Juicy Girl Vixen, welcome to the chat and welcome to the crew. You pointed out something that I had just thought about myself when I saw this. Juicy Girl Vixen, you said a minority trying to stop a holiday. That's why I said, Juicy Girl Vixen, that it was against his own interest. Here's a man of Indian descent. I mean, from the country of India. Who is, and this is why, folks, when we talk about the thinking of white supremacy, the value systems of white supremacy, right? This is exactly what we're talking about. White supremacy will cause you to negate yourself, negate who you are, negate where you come from, negate your own personal value system, and you will be compelled to take on someone else's value system that is not even in your best interest. White supremacy as a system, as a system of thought, as a system of values, as a system of policy, these things will negate you, will make you feel like, you know what, I don't bring anything special to the table. I cannot include myself, bring my unique self, my heritage, my experiences to the table. I have to just accept what's already been established instead of bringing something new. It is absolutely insane. I think Juicy Girl Vixen, you would agree with me on this. It's insane that a man who is a minority would get mad at another minority group for simply having a holiday to commemorate a special moment in their history. We don't even have Indian holidays. But guess what? Those who have made the transition from India to America have certainly contributed to this country. But you don't even have the mindset, the thinking to say, you know what, I'm going to establish something for myself and for my people that are coming from across the water. Instead, you completely shut down the holiday, not Memorial Day. You heard him saying, I'm not Memorial Day, Juneteenth. It's new, we don't need it, we can just incorporate it. The reason that we have Dr. King Day is it's pretty simple. We're celebrating the life and legacy of Dr. King. The reason that we have Black History Month is pretty simple, because we aren't informed enough to learn about all of the great things that Black folks had brought to this country to make this country great, right? And that other people need to know about Black history. What are the holidays are we talking about here, folks? You want to say Kwanzaa? That is a cultural holiday then that's a holiday for Black folks. That is not quote unquote, it's recognized by the government, but its intent was not to make it government. Oh, and then we're going to promote something. So what are you talking about, sir? I don't understand. Why wouldn't you want to have a holiday to help to at least mark a significant period, not just of Black history, of American history, since you say that you're all about being American? But this is what white supremacy does. It drowns out the uniqueness. It takes away the specialness of each individual so we can be conformed to someone else's view about ourselves and about the world around us. All right, let's go here. Let me hear from you, some more of you in the crew. I'm so glad that you are checking in. You don't like my music, you say Farajii is right. All you have to do is sell out. It's crazy. You don't like my music? Don't understand it. Don't understand it. But I want to get your take on this very quickly, folks, as we talk about this. The man said that he would cancel Juneteenth, incorporate the spirit of Juneteenth and other holidays. What's your take if he is elected president of the United States? I wonder, what does his people say about him? That's what I'm looking at. What does his people say? You can't even go and see. This is the thing. So sometimes, and I know that we kind of talked about this a little bit, folks, but this is a prime example that just because you might look like a certain group of people, you're not thinking about the greater interest of that people. We talk about it with Black folks, right? We talking about it with Native Americans. We talk about it with Latino. It doesn't matter what you look like on the outside. It's the thinking. That's the part that gets me. I don't want to be a part of any group of people who don't see me, whether I'm a black, don't see me as a black man, don't see me in terms of my belief system, my value system, don't see me in terms of my history, I'm just a face. I'm a darker face. I'm a lighter. No, I want you to see all of me. And white supremacy, going back to this point, folks, white supremacy will make you no longer see yourself. Now you think you are a part of a group that you really aren't a part of. That's a delusion. Like, no, we're all American. Okay, all right, fine, we're all American, but guess what? Does that mean that I lose all that I am brought into, that all that I bring to the table just for the name of being American? No. And then this is even for white people, that if your people came from Ireland, they came from some other part of the world, from England, that's your heritage. You should be able to celebrate your heritage in whatever way, in whatever respectful way. But if we're getting to a situation where we just want to get this homogenized culture, where we're all the same way, regardless of color, like we all look different on the outside, but then those differences aren't celebrated to the point where we can benefit from the differences, then what's the point? Who wants a homogenized culture? It is the reason that we live in the places that we love to live in, and that we have this space, this country that we're in, and that we're making the strides, the progress of this country is because of diversity, because of the differences that we have, not because we all want to be like white people, not because we all want to be, quote unquote, the average American. No, the differences makes the difference. Our differences, our personal, historical, experiential differences make the difference, and it helps to elevate the culture in society and not just cause us to want to be like someone else. All right, folks. Let me go here very quickly. Angie Brown checking in. Good to connect with you, Angie. You said this is absurdity. Come on, he can't be serious. Does he even know what Juneteenth and why we celebrate it seriously? Why we celebrate it seriously? No, he doesn't. And this is why I remember, y'all, when Juneteenth happened after that weekend, I came back on air and I said, what makes this different? How do we celebrate Juneteenth differently than other holidays that are designed for Black folks, right? That we call our own. So now this also comes a little bit on us, because if we just celebrated the same way we celebrate Dr. King, the same way we celebrate Black History Month, if we aren't clear as to why this holiday or this moment needs to be emphasized or celebrated or acknowledged, if we aren't clear, then guess what? It opens the door for other people to not be clear. And for this to happen to the point where they're like, oh, well, I mean, it's just another day, so we could just throw it in there with President's Day. President's Day. How does Juneteenth have with President's Day? How does that match? But we have to be clear in our cultural expression, I believe. Once that clarity is known to us, it will be clear to the rest of the world. Angie, thank you so much. Jeremy Campbell, you checked and you said they're always trying to take from us, but as we always did, we stand up and celebrate our heritage. I hope so, but we got to be intentional, Jeremy. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. Very quickly. Lana, my sister, you said he doesn't know anything about Juneteenth or our struggle. This is why Kamala Harris doesn't separate her message. She appears just like a Democratic Vivette. Pay attention. Wow. Hard pill to swallow there, Lana. Appreciate you, sis. My sister Tiana, you checked and you say he just wants his poll numbers to go up. Yeah, but guess what? The conversation about Juneteenth, you see people clapping like, yeah, no Juneteenth. No Juneteenth. So we are being attacked on all levels, folks. We are being attacked on all levels. Let me get one more in here before we take our first pause this afternoon. Real Brooklyn, you checked in and said, oh, it matters. You have to look a certain way to get through any door. And if that doesn't work, you resort to crapping on your own in order to get in. Welcome to white supremacy, folks. Real Brooklyn, appreciate you for saying that. Welcome to white supremacy. And that's what happens. White supremacy will make you negate yourself. Not self-denial is one thing. Self-negation is a whole different thing. negate yourself at the expense of yourself to be like someone else. And guess what, folks? If we continue to go down that road, guess what's going to happen? We won't have no culture or history at all. Look, I got to take a quick pause. When we come forward, let's talk about money matters at home and abroad, at home, at the workplace, and all over the place, as we're going to be checking in with finance expert Betty Hines to give us some insight on what we can do, as there is a new study that has shown out from Bank of America that shows that more Americans are pulling from their 401ks at a higher rate now than ever before. What is this a sign of? What does it mean? And most importantly, how does this impact your pockets? Folks, stay with us. The conversation is up next here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is roland@rolandsmartin.com.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. We're going to just want to take a couple of more comments from you as my crew today as we talk about GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, who had made the point that Juneteenth is quote unquote useless. And as he made that point, because he's looking to make some changes if he's elected president, that he would make some changes to the holiday calendar. He will make some changes and make an election day a national holiday, a day where people get off, which I actually, now that point, I never understood it, why they talking about, oh, people need to take time out of their jobs and stuff like that just to go vote. And then you talk about not making election day a national day, a holiday, a federal day, that people won't be penalized for getting off work or voting and all of those things. Like, make it make sense. If you want people to vote, remove as many barriers as possible to make sure that people can go out and do that. And just one day, just a one-day situation, right? It's a national holiday. So I'm not in dispute with that if that's the ultimate goal, is to get people to vote. But this other stuff this dude is talking about, Juneteenth being useless, Juneteenth shouldn't be a major holiday. It should be incorporated. The principles and spirit of Juneteenth should be incorporated in other holidays. How many black holidays do we actually have in this day? Come on, crew, talk to me. How many black holidays do we have? Because there's, and I'm not talking about Christmas and Thanksgiving. Of course, there are actually holidays all over the place. And he said it. He said if we are going to mark a special day for each time there was something major, we probably wouldn't go to work. I don't think it's that bad. But if you go to, there are websites that I would suggest that y'all check it out, like nationaltoday.com. This is a website that shows you every single holiday on every month and all of these things. You can find these holidays. Some things are a little bit more the major holidays, and then you have some of the minor holidays. But these are not holidays in the sense that these are just simply acknowledgement moments. And guess what? What's wrong with that? One thing that a lot of Americans, I think we all are challenged by because of the culture that we live in, is that we don't know the history of things. We don't like to study history. I mean, there are a few historians out there, and I know some of us love to do reading on our own and all of those things. But as a collective, I'm talking about as a collective body of people, for those 300 million people in this country, there are so many moments in our history that we just don't know. Things that we should know. Right? Things that we could know to help us move this country, to move the relationships within this country further along, but we just don't know. So we don't, and then more importantly, to learn from those historical moments, so that way we can work from a place of not just talking, but we can work from a place of knowing for sure how a situation is going to go. But to say that that Juneteenth is a useless holiday it's pretty, I would say, it's pretty damn insulting, considering the fact that people's lives were impacted because of that situation down in Texas. People's lives were impacted, right? Our people, our ancestors, their lives were impacted because of that. So it's not useless to make that acknowledgement. Anything around the enslavement of black folks in this country is not useless, because America does not want to talk about chattel slavery, nor does she want to talk about the impact of chattel slavery on black folks, on white people, on this country to this present moment. All right. Let me see here. Vicky V checking in for the crew. Vicky, good to hear from you. You said, have he seen blacks over the entire world talking about Indian holidays or Indian stuff? Facts. Come on. See what I'm saying? Facts. It doesn't make sense. Thank you, Vicky, for checking in. Pauline, my sister, you said election day should be a holiday. I remember years ago, I used to get a half day off work to go and vote. Absolutely. You can't say, hey, why people aren't going to work? And then corporate America is not in tune with the federal government. Corporate America don't get, let's keep it real. Corporate America does not give a damn about you going to vote, man. I mean, if that's a personal value, that's one thing. But is it really a collective value for corporate America to say, hey, I mean, yes, some places, some workplaces will say, and I'm talking about white collar places in corporate America, yeah, you can go out and vote. But in blue collar companies, they give you a limited time to do it. You got to do it in this time frame. And, you can't take a whole day off work. They even, in some cases, they will even penalize you for simply exercising your right to vote. So then you got to ask yourself the question, is my right to vote, is it truly of value? Is it truly worth it? That's the big question that we got to ask ourselves as we look at that. So yes, I'm right there with you. Lori, you checked and you said, look it up for how many black holidays there are. It is stated it was 100 that is celebrated all over America. Lori, you got 100 holidays, black holidays? Man. Look, Lori, I want you to post that link in the chat. Can you do that for us? Maybe we can get it all to get enlightened from that. Post that link in the chat. Let us, and that way we can see what those 100 holidays look like. Because I know for sure we are not celebrating 100 holidays at this point. I definitely know that. We aren't celebrating 100 holidays. All right, let me do this. Let me see here. Mike V, you said if the idea is to bring more black people to the Republican Party, his comments are actually hurting that agenda. Republicans will distance themselves from him. Will they? Mike V, will they? I don't know if they will. I don't think that they will. And I'm not saying it, I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of GOP folks probably feel the same way about this. He's just saying something that some of them are afraid to say. Shalinda, thank you, Mike. I appreciate your comment. Shalinda, you said Juneteenth is not useless because it brings about a conversation. That's true. It's certainly true. But we do need some form of empowerment. Like, and I'm going back to it. We need to figure out, and I'm saying we as those who have been affected by whose history it belongs to, that's related to our history. So Shalinda, we need to be very clear about how we're going to celebrate it. What is the way that you want the rest of what is the way that we want the rest of the world to celebrate? That's the big thing about that. Otherwise, we're going to just be kind of cooking out in parties. And I have a real problem with that. I have a very real problem with such a historic moment. It could be a moment of celebration, but at the same time, it's also a moment where we recognize that we're always the last to know. We're far behind. So this isn't just about, oh, let's just celebrate. Our people couldn't celebrate because they were enslaved for 2 years, longer than everybody else were, according to the history, right? So where's the celebration that they finally got the word that it's over? All right, let's do this. Torian POV, you said, does he think it's useless because they still don't see us as free? He could. But again, let's go back to my initial thesis on this, folks. White supremacy will make you feel like you don't see the difference in other people, regardless of whether you are part of the marginalized or not. It don't matter whether you black, white, from India, from Jamaica, from Hawaii, from China. If you embrace that type of thinking, that you feel like, well, having a holiday for black people is un-American. Maybe having a holiday for Latino people is un-American. Then guess what? You're not even be able to see the differences that make people great. You can't even see it. You can't even see it. Look, I got to take another quick pause. When we come forward, folks, let's continue the conversation on the other side. Stay with me. Still got a lot more to get to in this first hour right here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. All right, let me just take a couple of more of your comments, Screw, as we talk about this. And some of you are really in your feelings, which I understand, because if y'all know, man, I am so sick and tired of people's ignorance. I'm serious. It's like I am so sick and tired of people's ignorance about other people. We act as if other people don't exist in some cases. Bob Leon, you said, okay, so you want us to have a parade on George Washington's birthday, right? You know he owned slaves, so that just don't matter to our black people. Just saying. Yeah, I mean, look, that's the place that we're in right now, Bob. That we want to recognize. And here's the thing, folks. This country has been in existence for a little over 200 and something years, right? 230 years, right? And since this country has been in existence, how come we can't, and I mean, you think about all of these people that are in this country right now. You're talking about black people, you're talking about Asians, Latinos, you got folks from South America, you got folks from the Caribbean, you got folks from London, you got all these people in this country. And in 2023, we still are going back and forth about recognizing other people, the contributions of other people, the history of other people. I mean, it's still a problem that other people want to be seen in 2023. After all of this, like after we had the Revolutionary War, we had all of these wars, we tell people to come to America all the time and bring me this person, bring me that person. And we go through this whole process. And then when folks get here, when folks move here, then there's no real effort to try to recognize people, to try to see people, to try to honor people. And this may not be within the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It might be in the past 50, say 100 years. People have come to this country and have added significantly to this country, right? Across the board, across all the spectrums, the color lines and everything. And there are people in this country who still wants to hold on to this false idea that white people, one, founded this country, which we know, I'm saying Europeans founded this country, which is not true. And you want to hold on to this false idea that European history is the best history when European history is based on the destructive relationship that Europeans has had with every other people on the planet Earth. And we want to hold on to it. We don't want to get rid of it. We call it the American way. When in fact, folks, it is one of the most hostile takeovers, right? No business, there's no business that has done this greater than what white supremacy has done to the mindset, to the culture, to the very identity of people in this country. You talking about a hostile takeover? Please, that's child's play. This is a psychological takeover. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to what you got to say. Kenna H, you checked in and said the backlash is real. I hope so. I really, really do hope so. Man, oh man. Cindy, you checked in and said, are they really ignorant, Farajii? I don't think so. These people do and say what's best for them. We are the biggest minority that get recognized. Some may be jealous of us. Well, some are jealous of us. We're actually in the country, based upon the past census, the majority, of course, are white folks. Then you have Latino folks, Hispanics. Then you have Black folks. So we're in the top 3. Now, how much from the 13, 14% of the population that we make up, how much of our culture, how much of our history, how much have we given for the growth and the development of this country? Now, that's a different story. Can that be truly quantified? When this country was built on the physical backs of Black people. It was built on other people, but we know without a shadow of doubt, it was built on the physical backs of Black people, of African people. Right? So we are the smallest, not the smallest, but we're out of the top 3 groups of people, we're number 3, but we gave it all. And we're still seeking it. We're still seeking it, folks. We're still talking about fighting for rights. We're still talking about being considered a full citizen. We're still talking about making sure that our children have a future they can really put their hope in. And we gave it all. And we continue to give it all. This ain't racism. This ain't racism. We just having a fireside chat, right? So we don't want to honor and celebrate the group of people that have given it all, continues to give it all. We don't think that that's necessary. This gentleman doesn't think that's necessary. Not knowing and understanding that the struggle of Black people has led to the liberation of other people. I want y'all to think about that. The struggle that we have endured in this country as Black people has opened the door for the liberation, for the advancement, for the rights of other people to happen. We can't talk about human rights or civil rights, and Black people are not at the core, at the center of that conversation. This is not racism. I'm looking at history. I'm looking at how the culture is moving. Oh man. Jawan, thank you for checking. And you say I'm speaking 100% facts. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. Emilio, you checked in. You said Ramaswamy is not as smart as he thinks he is. What a stupid thing to say. It's very stupid, highly insulting, and it speaks volumes about how much work we got to do to uproot white supremacy and white-mindedness. Who else we got in here? Because I'm just checking out. I got my OG Legacy Culture crew members in here, and I see y'all. But I want to welcome some of the new Culture crew members. And folks, we invite you to join us as we have these type of conversations every day. And more importantly, join us on the Bring the Funk Fan Club, where you can provide some financial support to this conversation, to the platform, of Black Star Network to have these conversations. Robin, my sister, Robin said, honestly, I don't care what they think. That's the move we got to take. That's the direction we got to take. I think that is it. I bring this up to the conversation just to let us know that we still got a lot of work to do. But at the end of the day, when the rubber meets the road, we can't think about what they're doing. It just goes to show you. This just goes to show you. It's not about what a person looks like on the outside. It's about what a person thinks on the inside. And we have a lot of work to do to change people's thinking in this country. Even though we got more technology, there's been more advancement, there's been more talk of civil rights and human rights. There have been more conversations about race relations in this country than ever before. We still got a lot to do to uproot the old thinking into a new understanding, to see people not as we want them to be, not as the system has categorized us to be, but to see people as they are. And if we start there, we're going to definitely see a change in the culture. All right, folks, I got to take another quick pause. When we come back, let's talk about what happened down in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm going to share with you the latest details of the case, what the Montgomery Police Department is doing, and what had just happened. And I'm going to give you my very unpopular opinion about this moment, because social media feels one way, I'm feeling a different way. And I just want to see if anybody else is feeling the same way that I'm feeling. If not, it's cool, but we're going to have a conversation about it. So stay with us. That conversation, and later on, we're going to be checking in to talk a little bit about National Black Business Month as well. So we got a lot to get to in the next hour. Stay with us. It's The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture. Weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Man, oh man, make sure y'all should be a part of Team Replay as we share with you just some crazy ass quote from GOP presidential campaign candidate, Mr. Vivek Ramaswamy, about Juneteenth. If you missed that conversation, make sure y'all jump on it and see it in the replay. But make sure you stay tuned because we are always streaming some dope content here on Black Star Network, your place to get some of the hottest conversation that is relevant and culturally appropriate. And certainly content that will make you think about who you are in the world around you. So make sure y'all go to blackstarnetwork.com to get all of the latest news and information, blackstarnetwork.com. Also, we're streaming live on Amazon News, on your Roku TV, and of course on social media platforms of Facebook and YouTube. And it's on YouTube that you can follow, that you can join us in the conversation. Just go on to Roland Martin's YouTube page and jump on the link, the live link, which we are streaming live right now from Los Angeles. And you can be a part of the Culture Crew. And as part of the Culture Crew, you can share your thoughts, post your questions, and just be a part of the discussions, the ongoing vibrant discussion that is always happening in the chat. And again, big shout out to all of the brand new voices. I love connecting with brand new voices. And also make sure y'all do y'all due diligence to follow us on social media at Black Star Network and follow me on social media at The Real Farajii on Instagram and Farajii on Twitter and Facebook and in other spaces. But I love connecting with some new watchers. So thank you. Big shout out to my OG chat, Culture Crew members. Y'all know who you are. I see my pastor, Damon Blissett of the Block Churches in full effect. I see you and so many others. Cindy D. I see Pauline. I see all of you for checking in. My sister Janelle, thank you so much. Joni, welcome to the chat. Tia Z, Gassy, I hear you. Vicky V, I got you. Tiana, my sister, good to see you. Deborah Anderson, there we go. I'm just happy to see y'all. Stride Iron Style, thank you so much for checking in. You don't like my music? What's up? Benny Hill, good to see you, sir. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all make the world a better place for these conversations. Mike V, I got you, bro. Thank you for checking in. All right, folks, this is the big culture convo that everybody's been talking about for the past 24 hours. What happened down in Montgomery? It was a simple situation that just gone terribly wrong, and it has gotten the attention of the whole country. And race relations is again at the forefront of this discussion, as we've seen a Black employee, a security guard, who was trying to just do his job and telling a group of boaters, those who were at this Montgomery Riverside boat, to just, hey, we've got this big old Riverside boat that's trying to dock here. And we're asking, he asked the owner of a small boat, looking for the owner of a small boat that was essentially in the same space as this larger Riverside boat. And the security guard, doing his job, tried to make it happen, tried to get the situation taken care of. Well, it ended up first in being a verbal altercation between the Black employee, the Black security guard, and a couple of white patrons. And then it all went to head. Keenan, can we play the video? I want you to play the video for those who may not know. It just went terribly wrong. He's trying to do his job. He's talking to folks. And folks, y'all, some of y'all may have seen this video. It's been caught on camera. And he was trying to simply do his job. Now you can clearly see he's not having a good conversation with these folks. And Black folks out there is, just pumping everything up. Take a look at this video, folks.
There you go. Get out now.
I ain't gonna do nothing but drown and I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna say one more substitute. No, we do for y'all, baby. It's over. Okay.
And it goes on like that for a few minutes. People started coming out the water, and guess what? It just becomes a whole situation. All right, folks. Crew, y'all talked to me about this yesterday. My sister Lana and a few others of you say, Farajii, are we going to talk about what happened down there at the riverboat? Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Now, look, I'm so happy. Here's the one thing I'm really, really happy about. I'm happy that that black man, that employee, was not seriously hurt. I hope that's not the case. I mean, I know that in the heat of battle, sometimes, you know, the adrenaline is rushing and, you know, you're moving around a lot. You may not feel the pain of the punches and hits, but it looked like he didn't get seriously injured because he was able to get up, walk away a little bit, and kind of get himself together and collect himself. So I'm happy that that happened because this situation could have gone left, right? But the fact that it just came into such a big display of violence, right? Pretty much along racial lines too. Now, as you can see in the video, there were a couple of white patrons that tried to stop the other white guys from hitting on the black employee, but then they were pushed away and more stuff started happening. Well, after this situation happened on this part of the dock, then people started, there were a couple of swimmers that jumped into the water, came out, they started to get involved. That situation simmered down, and then another situation from another area of the dock popped up. More fights were happening, and a chair was used during the course of that situation. It just became this whole thing. Now, I want to get your take on this, crew. Share your thoughts on this. Is this a time to be rejoiced? I mean, and I know people will probably ask me, well, why would you bring this up? And I want to be serious because that's what's how this whole conversation is being how it's being perceived, that black folks felt like, you know what, this was a moment that we should be proud of. And I want to talk a little bit about that. First, let me share with you what the Montgomery police said they were going to do. This is from CNN. Take a look at this, folks. So we already saw how the melee started with a black man who a witness described to CNN as an employee. He engaged with a group of white men on the dock, according to the footage. Then a shirtless white man then charged and shoved them, and others pushed the worker to the ground and started punching him. The fight escalated further, with other groups of people entering the fray, and after a short break in the action, a second round of punches and attacks on the footage shows. Montgomery police said they were called to the scene and found, quote, a large group of subjects engaged in a physical altercation, according to a Monday news release. Several people were detained and charges were pending, police added. There are 4 active warrants and more could come, according to Major Saba Coleman, who is a Montgomery police spokesperson. He told CNN in an email. So they're looking to make some arrests of some folks. Who are they going to arrest? We don't know just yet, but the arrest warrants are coming. Look, I got to take a quick pause. When we come forward, I want us to talk a little bit about why this moment is such a happy, quote unquote, and I don't want to use such an elementary and small word, but people are excited to see this. And I want us to get a little bit deeper into it because it speaks volumes about where we are in the larger picture of seeing ourselves as valuable. It speaks volumes about how much we actually yearn for justice. We're going to have that conversation on the other side. Stay with us. It's The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen shots.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear. Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. We've been talking about what happened at that riverboat dock down in Montgomery, Alabama, that it went from a simple situation that could have been resolved that escalated to a verbal altercation to escalate to a whole melee, where it started off with a black security worker trying to talk to some white patrons about moving their boat for a larger riverboat on the dock. And then a white man comes out of nowhere, pushes and shoves the black security officer down to the ground, and boom, it just went downhill from there. Now, this situation has caught the attention, of course, nationally, because the fight has gone pretty much down racial lines between black and white people. And so many folks, and I've been seeing it on social media over the past 24 hours, some folks are just simply saying this is a sign that things are certainly changing in this country. Let me go to what y'all have to say on this, crew, because I think it's interesting. I think this is an interesting dynamic. And when we have big cultural moments, we can kind of work through them. That way we can talk about them a little bit and get a better understanding so that way we can walk away from this moment feeling a little bit more empowered. Tiana, you checked in and said that security guard wasn't trying to fight. No, he definitely wasn't trying to fight, but he had to fight. So I'm always with somebody. Look, I was always taught this very simple. Fight with those who fight with you, and surely God would grant you the victory. If somebody put their hands on you, up into your personal space, all up in your face, breathing their breath on you, these are all signs that you want to go. That's what that means to me. I can walk away. I could be the peaceful man, but these are all signs that you want to go. You yelling and you screaming and you doing okay, then you must want to go. All right, that's what it means. But I appreciate that. Sandy, you said, see, that's when people got involved. They jumped him. Absolutely, they jumped him and it became this whole other thing. Absolutely. Deborah, thank you for checking in. Sandy, thank you for checking in as well. Deborah, you said he was doing his job, but to be pushed and struck in the face and attacked by 3, 4, 5, 6 others, absolutely. I mean, it was insane, absolutely insane. Juwan, thank you so much, Deborah, for checking in. Juwan, you said, I just love our people. I love how our folks came together to help him. When I was in Montgomery a few years ago, Our people there treated my cousin and me like family. I love our people. I love our people too. I definitely love our people as well. But I think that it's important that we keep in mind that this could have gone left very quickly. Even with the police looking to arrest some folks and all of that stuff, it could go left because you're down in one of the most racist cities, a city that is known for its deep racism, a city that is known for its bigotry. Montgomery, Alabama, one of the great places, one of the great cities of our civil rights movement. It can still go left. Don't think we out of the water yet. It can still go left. We just got to see how this investigation goes. Jawan, thank you so much. Davey Floater, you said Black August has kicked off greatest so far. This is happening while West Africa is joining hands to kick out France. Here's the thing on this, though. Here's the thing on this, y'all. And this, y'all might deem this to be unpopular. As much as I saw the sort of like the rah, 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 yeah, we got them, this means nothing to me. I'm sorry. Here's why. Here's why. Man, look, the systems that we got in place, and I know some of us, we love to see a good ass whipping, right? We love to see people get their ass whipped. We love to see, and some of us, we haven't received justice in so long that any form of resistance looks like a victory. That's the case, right? Any form of resistance. So if it comes from us, you know, a black man beating down on a white man, a black man taking a chair against a white man's face, and as crazy as it sounds, some of us rejoice in that because we just haven't we've received any justice in these cases like that, right? So I understand that. But that speaks volumes about where we are too in our struggle, that a situation like this is seen as quote unquote some level of victory. It might be a sign that we're not taking it anymore. That's certainly true. But is it a victory? No. Because guess what? After all the dust settles, after everybody walks away, those white people are still going to be in a privileged position than black people. Systemically, right? See, and this again, y'all can agree with me or not on this, crew, but I'm at a place where it's like I don't want Pyrrhic victories. I need a real victory. Y'all hear me? I don't want Pyrrhic victories. I need a real victory. All right, let me go back to what y'all are checking in and saying. Let me see. Tiana, you say black folks are tired of the BS. We are glad the outcome was different and not watching someone die. Absolute facts. Absolute facts. Here's the thing about this part that I want us to keep in mind. This is something that I came across on The Root. This is from The Root when they said the reason why black folks are rejoicing over the Montgomery fight, the Montgomery brawl. Take a look at this. This comes from let me pull up the writer on this from The Root. This comes from a sister by the name of Candace McDuffie. And she posted this, she made this point, which I think is a valid point. So Kina, let's post this on the screen here for screen. Thank you so much, bro. She said, justice for us is a rarity. And often when we try to achieve it, we are victim blamed and held responsible for our own demise. What we saw in Montgomery was not just an incredible show of unity amongst black people, facts, but the opposite of what we are used to seeing. This time, when a black man was being attacked by white people, he and folks who stepped in on his behalf fought back. Absolutely, I would agree with you. I would agree with our sister Candace. She said, she referenced Pulitzer Prize winning journalist Nicole Hannah-Jones, who did the 1619 Project for the New York Times. That's a Hulu special now. She pointed out, Nicole Hannah-Jones pointed out this, I think it was yesterday. She said, if you understand the history of Montgomery, one of the most prolific slave trading cities in the United States turned brutally repressive apartheid regime after, and majority black, but just got its first black mayor, it gives so much more perspective to this video. Montgomery got the first black mayor, and his name escapes me at this particular moment. So y'all tell me. The Montgomery mayor, Stephen Reed. That's right. He a young brother. He was mayor and he put out a statement on this. This is Mayor Stephen Reed, a black man. Let's put it in, Keen, if you can find the picture of Mayor Reed, I will appreciate that, bro. But he said in a statement on Sunday that several people involved in the fighting Saturday evening have been detained. He said, quote unquote, justice will be served. He said, justice will be served. He said he indicated that the man from the riverboat was attacked and that those who committed violence against him would face the justice system. He said the Montgomery Police Department acted swiftly to detain several reckless individuals for attacking a man who was simply doing his job. All right. So that came from Mayor Stephen Reed, the first black mayor of the city of Montgomery, Alabama. But I don't mind areas. That's Mayor Reed right there. He's a young man, young brother. I love the unity, but I hope, like I said, in a situation like this, right, it can go left, especially when you're dealing with the police department, when they sit down and start looking at, well, who was engaged in the fight. Hell, what if it comes up through that those who try to, quote unquote, defend or stand in solidarity with the little brother, with our brother, the security guard, that they get charged? And some of them did. When we get the full details of the situation, some of them actually got charged. There's no charge that to be like, well, because you stood in defense of your brother, you won't get charged. Please. Please. So this is a whole situation that we got to look at. Is it a victory? It's a sign of unity. And like many of you, I'm in agreement. It's a sign of us saying enough is enough. I definitely agree with that. But is it a victory? I don't know. But I can't, you know, it's good social media stuff. But at the same time, I want to put my hope and faith in something real. I want to put it in something real. I'm happy that nobody died. I'm happy that brother, the security guard, didn't get beaten up so bad that he's sitting in the hospital somewhere on an intensive care unit. I'm happy for that. But I don't know if I would, I just didn't, I personally, I wasn't in the spirit of rejoicing. All right, let's go back to what what y'all are saying about this. DeAndre, thank you so much for checking in, my man. DeAndre C, you said being where that took place, I'm glad no one was shot. Facts. How about that, bro? We all know that they are quick to use arms against us, especially in the South, with their laws being what they are. Come on, man. Absolutely, DeAndre. I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you for posting that. Sharon Gregory, you checked in and said, plus, that dock is exactly where slaves were sold, so this is a more than just a fight. But the history, Sharon, and I appreciate you posting that, you know, bringing it up. But the history, again, is something else. Now, is this going to be the beginning of some level of revolution for Black folks in the city of Montgomery, Alabama? I don't know. Or just happened to be one of them situations. We don't know. We will have to see how our people, if you're from Montgomery, you live in the area, I would love to get your take on this, folks, as we have this conversation. But we will have to see how they respond. Because look, I'm in Los Angeles. Y'all, some of y'all are we're all over different parts of the country. We've seen this. But one thing I'm learning this very, very early on, that if the people in cities where stuff is happening aren't moving, aren't effective, then we just talking out our ass, folks. I'm so sorry to say it like that, but we just talking. Everybody around the country talking about, yeah, man, this is great, man. Woo, Black folks rising up, man, boom. And then the people in Black Montgomery is still like, then what does that say? What does that say? Jess Davis, Jess, thank you so much for checking. You said apparently one of the employees crop dusted the boat because they refused to move it, which is what set them off. Basically, they didn't want to follow the rules because that privilege came into their thinking. I'm telling y'all, white supremacy is a mother. That privilege comes into their thinking, and boom, they just feel like they can do whatever they want. That white man just felt like he could just shove that black man the way he did and not feel any type of consequences. He felt some consequences. He definitely felt some consequences. But it's not a full victory for us yet. Janelle, my sister, you said there was nothing simple about a group of people trying to come against one person. This was not a battle about systems. It was about unifying against immediate pain and disrespect. I would agree with you. I'm in full agreement. I'm in full agreement. Let me just say, Stride Iron Style, you checked in and said, we fighting, not talking, Farajii, but the laughing emojis. Yeah, I know. We love to fight. We love to fight, right? Davey Floater, you checked in and said self-defense, LOL. Oh yeah. Like I said, no, and I'm saying I don't think a lot of you are of this mindset, crew, but I think that people are saying like are trying to make this more than what it is. Yes, it was a sign of unity, absolutely. Absolutely. But we got to ask ourselves the question like what is it going to be for Black Montgomery? What's going to happen there? How are Black folks down there taking this? Monkey Confessions, you checked in and said it is a start. It is a start to what? To what? What are we starting? What do we want to start, more important? What do we want to start here, Monkey Confessions? Underhill, you checked in and said, it only takes a small percentage of the population to successfully revolt. Solidarity could mean victory if people could agree on a few basic topics. I agree. But what's the revolt? Was this a political situation? No, this is people just hanging out on the dock, chilling on the riverboat. Were they political activists? No, they were just simply patrons. They did what they thought was the right thing to do. And I'm talking about Black folks. They said, oh, no, you can't beat up on this black man. We're going to step in. No. Exactly. I'm for that. But let's not make it more than what it is. That's my only thinking on this. Let's not make it more than what it is. Is a revolt? I wouldn't go as far as to say that. They didn't come to the dock with the agenda. We're gonna use this. This is the dock of our people, of those who have been enslaved, and therefore this is sacred ground, and we won't allow. No, they didn't come to the dock like that. They didn't come to the dock like that at all. See Peter Morgan, you said first steps. I hear you. And Monkey Confessions, you said the people in Montgomery are strong. They're not scared to defend themselves. Well, you know what? We need to all take that drink. We need to all take that drink. Montgomery need to pass it on to folks in Florida. Florida need to pass it on to folks in Maryland. We need to all take a little sip of that Kool-Aid. I'm feeling you on that. Okay. Cindy D, my sister, you said the word unity is in community. Are we unified in our actions toward other America? America itself is a community. Great question. Are we unified enough? Because we could be united on this, and that's all well and good. But this is small compared to the attacks that we're feeling systemically, the attacks that we're feeling from police, the attacks that we're feeling on. Y'all just go down the line of it. Who else? I get it, y'all. I hope y'all, and Benny Hill, you said defending your brothers, LOL at Farajii, right? You got to defend each other. Look, nobody wants to see this. I would have jumped in the same situation too. And I hope that we all have that spirit that when one of us fall, we all going in. So maybe we can keep that there. That this is a sign of unity, right? But even so, and more importantly, even so, we do have to figure out, and again, we got to see how the police handles the situation. Because if Mayor Stephen Reed, a black man, the first black mayor of Montgomery, decides to lock up black folks, then what? Because guess what? We all still have to follow the law. And according to the law, some of those black people could be in violation. So I would rather for us to look at the whole situation, because it's not like Stephen Reed is going to have to just like give them a pass and say, oh, you're black? You came out of the water like Aquaman? you can go home. It just doesn't work that way. Y'all feel me? It just doesn't work that way. So if there are some black folks that are locked up or are charged, are we going to support them? We're going to make sure somebody's going to make sure they're going to get a lawyer, get some money. There it is. My Javon Raspberry, you said stand for nothing, fall for anything. Facts. I love it. Yo, I'm trust and believe. I'm not saying that. I love the fact of the unity, but I'm starting to see some characterization as this is a quote unquote a revolt. This is a sign that, you know what? No, I love the unity, but let's keep it in its proper context because this is a fight, right? But is this fight going to open the door for other fights that's going to lead us to victory? I don't know. We will have to see. The police are going to have to investigate. Folks, we got to take another quick pause. When we come forward, let's talk about National Black Business Month, as August is a major month for celebrating Black businesses and the resources and support that they can get throughout the month. Stay with us. That conversation is up next with my sister, Kelsey Nicole, and you right here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
I'm Farajii Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind $100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. I'm your host, Farajii Muhammad. The conversation is continuing on the other side. If you join us on our YouTube page, just go under Roland Martin's YouTube page, and that's where the conversation is right now, folks, where you can see all of the Culture crew members that are just checking in for the day, OG Culture crew members, new Culture crew members, new voices, new faces. They're checking in to talk about what's been going on in Montgomery, Alabama. And, you know, I get it. I hope y'all don't misunderstand my spirit and my energy. It's all well and good that the unity is there. And I think let me make sure let me pull this up. Student of the game, you say coming to the defense of your brother is always a big deal. We got to stop trying to downplay our situations that bring our people hope. Don't kill our spirit, and let us have the victory to build on. Okay, student of the game, I hear you. I hear you. Certainly my intent was not to bring down the spirit. My intent is to get us to think, though. To think bigger, to think broader, to think higher. We put some hands on some white people. Okay. Now, I'm for unity. No doubt about that. I'm glad that our people stepped in. But it's a fight. You see what I'm saying? It's a fight. And I'm happy that our brother, the security brother, he was able to not get hurt. I'm happy that nobody really got hurt to as bad as it could have. But this is a fight. This is a fight. And I hope that we don't get caught on the back end because we simply did the right thing of trying to take up for our brother. So that's my biggest hope. But I'm trying to keep this in its proper context. It's a fight. It's unfortunate. It could have gone left, but it's a fight. All right, student game, but I appreciate you for posting that. You're absolutely right. I ain't trying to rain on nobody's parade, but I'm tired of small victories, y'all. I'm tired of small little things. Black folks, we need some big stuff. We need big stuff. I need the big stuff. All right, let me get to my very special guest, my sister, who's doing some phenomenal work. I'm so happy to have her on. She serves as an award-winning broadcast journalist, radio host. She's in the sports world, sports contributor on a lot of different platforms. And she's just a dope, dynamic woman. And I'm happy for her to join me for this conversation about celebrating National Black Business Month, which is all month long for the month of August. And this is a very, very important day, folks, as this is a day where we start looking at Black businesses not just through the lens of mom and pop stores, but seeing them as a network that is going to lead to an infrastructure, a new system on how we do business. So I'm so happy to have my sister joining me, Kelsey, for checking in here on the Culture on the Black Star Network. Kelsey, what a day to join me.
Yes, I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me. It's a delight and pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you, Kelsey, for your for making yourself available for the conversation, and more importantly, doing the great work that you're doing. Now, let's talk about this Black Business Month celebrated in August. For those who don't know, people may not know, Kelsey, that Black Business Month, the history of it. So I want to share this very quickly. Black Business Month traced back to the year of 2004, when engineering entrepreneur Frederick Jordan partnered with the president and executive editor of the scholarly publishing company E-Access Corps, John William Templeton. They started this annual event. The intention was to drive the policy agenda affecting the 2.6 million African-American businesses back then, to highlight and empower Black business owners all over, and to help them with their own resources and support. So big shout out to John William Templeton and to Frederick Jordan for creating a space for Black businesses to be recognized and highlighted and celebrated. So talk to us, why is this important for you, Kelsey? You're in a lot of places, but why is Black businesses and celebrating Black businesses so important for you?
Yeah, well, before I get into that, I just want to quickly say all of your Morgan State Bear family told me to tell you a very special hello from the Baltimore area.
Did they say that? Did they tell you to say that, or you just try to?
They told me to send all the love, so I wanted to start there. And excited for you. But getting into
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Getting into your question, for me, I grew up, with parents that, Black parents that tell us a lot, get a job and work hard. And so both my parents were government workers. And for me, I didn't really realize what Black business meant, from a young age. I didn't know what it was to have access to capital, to have access to credit, venture investments, and things of those nature until I started being a freelance journalist and realizing that I was building my own brand. And from that, I was able to spur into being a multi-business owner. But I think it's huge to celebrate National Black Business Month. One, because Black Black people are one of the fastest growing folks to start businesses, especially when you look at after the COVID-19 pandemic. I think that's when a lot of people said, hey, you know what, I'm going to try this entrepreneurship route. But then too, Black women specifically, especially, are one of the fastest growing groups within the Black demographic that are starting businesses. And so for me, living in a place like Washington, D.C., where you continually see Black business, not just growing, but actually being championed, right, in a city with the Black mayor, I think it's very special and important to do that because one, you know, we always talk about generational wealth, and having a business is one of the ways to do that. But then two, just the independence that you get as a Black business owner. So for me, I have my own businesses, but yes, I also work for others. But guess what that means? That means multiple checks, right? Multiple invoices that I get to send. And for me, it means I'm really getting to build my legacy and what I'm going to leave for my family. So I think it just means a lot because, again, it was something that I didn't know I could do. You know, when I was younger, I thought you just get a job and work for the man until you get old. And now we all learn, we're like, if you want to retire comfortably, that's not going to work, right? It's expensive to live. It's expensive to do certain things. And, you know, you were just talking about, you know, Alabama and what happened in Montgomery. I think another reason why this month is so special. I mean, think about some of the Black business purchases that we've seen people doing, the t-shirts, right? The chair earrings. And I know, yes, we're laughing about the memes and things like that, but that's a perfect example of how quickly Black business can grow. And I think even more importantly, I'll just end with this, you know, I think it's really important too, because Black people, our dollar is the most circulated in the US economy. We are big spenders, but it means a lot, I think, when Black businesses are able to actually bring the dollar back home and grow within our own communities.
I think I love how you're putting this, Kelsey, because I think you're absolutely right. So we're talking about multiple checks and everything. So I want to ask this question as a Black business owner, a woman that is doing some phenomenal work in different spaces. Yeah. Do we not teach our children to just grow up, go to college, and get one job? Like what is the message that we give to our what is the message that we should embrace? And then the second part of that is like, what is the message that we should start to promote? Because there are a lot of different views of Black businesses, right? There's a lot of different views about entrepreneurship, being an entrepreneur. And then there are a lot of different views about working, right? And I feel like the conversation often when you talk about Black business, there's a little level of shame that comes along. It's like, oh, you're a Black person, you got a college degree, therefore you should be owning a business. And if you're not owning a business, well, you're not Black enough. And it's like, so what is the message that we need to embrace and then to put out there to the next generation?
I love this question. And one of my favorite things to do now, Farajii, is actually go and speak at schools, speak to our young people again, because I didn't see this enough growing up. And I think we have to change the narrative and the language we use around just what kids want to be when they grow up. I think so often, you know, we go in, we talk to kids and we say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we expect one-word answers. My question is why? Why can't they say they want to be multiple things when they grow up? You know, why can't they say they want to be a doctor, a business owner, maybe a teacher as well? And I think we have to really motivate our kids to know that they can do different things, but also to know that it's okay to change your mind on the things that you do. And so I think it's very important, again, when you ask children what they want to be, ask them, but pause and let them be able to say multiple things and support that. I think it's so important. Like me going back, I wanted to be a million different things when I was younger, but everyone told me, you know, you have to pick one thing. You have to pick one thing. But obviously, you know, I've been able to kind of change that narrative just through my legacy and through my life by being able to do multiple things now, right? As a business owner, a lecturer, you know, in college, again, a reporter, and so many more things. And so I think that's very important to teach. And then also, I think too, we need to better expose our children to Black business, to Black entrepreneurship. I can't tell you how excited children get when you get to say you're your own boss and that you get to pay yourself. I mean, they get super.
But there's something that comes along with that, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you know this, but I'm saying that when we told children that, like, hey, I get paid, I'm my own boss. I mean, that sounds like music to say everyone's is like, oh, I don't have to check in with someone. I could do my own thing. And it's like, not quite.
Right.
Because
I think think that's important though too. Something I tell children now, I wish I learned one about taxes early, Farajii. Like that's what messed me up on as a business owner, but no one teaches you those things, right? You start making this money, you're happy, you're giddy, you're looking at your account, but then all of a sudden, you get the letter from the IRS and it kind of tells you like, wait a minute, hey, some of that money is ours. And so I think to that point, that's why it's so important, again, to teach children early on about the expenses, the finances that come with business, right? Look at your total revenue, but then look at all the certain deductions. And this is why I think we have to have real conversations with our young people. For me, I don't want career day just once a year. I want a career day at least once a month. And especially in these predominantly Black schools where we have Black children, again, having them have access to this. A lot of the times, even some of the teachers have side businesses that I think should be shared with the children and the students early on. So I think to your point, you're exactly right. Let them know that Black business is a thing, that entrepreneurship is a thing. But yes, that like everything, it has its challenges, it has its difficulties. But I think even more so, letting them know that they can still conquer it. And it's just, again, going to take a good support system, I think, to learn that. And now more than ever, we see so many people, saying they're going to make the investment into Black businesses, right? So I want, the Chases, the JP Morgan Chases of the world, and all these other companies, that have basically promised to support Black businesses. We want them in schools. We want them to tell our young people this early on. So again, so they can see what they truly can be. But I think to your point, yes, it's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy at all. All right, so Kelsey, I'm gonna hit you with this question. You ready? I'm gonna hit you with this question. How do we make sure that as Black entrepreneurs, Black business owners, that we don't start to embrace a thinking of white-mindedness, that we do our business the same way that we've seen white people? And there are certain things we can learn from white people and other business owners, certainly. But when I'm speaking of that white-mindedness is that we start to look at our people as a means to an end, whereas traditionally and historically, we are the end. Those relationships are the end. It's not just about the bottom line, the dollar. How do we make sure that that doesn't happen? Because as much as we talk about this, like, I never forget seeing on the cover of Fortune, I think it was Forbes magazine or Fortune magazine, I think it was Forbes. They had this sister, maybe like a month and a half ago, they had this sister on the cover and they was like capitalism redefined or something. Yeah. And I was just, it struck a nerve in me because I'm like, we have suffered so much under the system of capitalism. Right. We have been products. We have been, as a people, we have come from, we were like the commodity of capitalism. So how do we make sure that we don't go into this with the same mindset that we've seen from our past and making sure that it empowers our future?
Yeah, and this is such an important topic. And I'm glad that you said what you said, because when we look at capitalism, it was not meant to benefit Black folks. Let's just be honest with how this country was started, right? And that's why we have to fight so much harder pretty much for everything, right, that we want. Again, Black business owners will tell you this, how hard their story is. But I think going back, to the point that you're making, and I'll tell you, this is what a lot of Black business owners say, is that we just have to respect Black business. A lot of times Black business owners will say, hey, when I start a business in my community, the first thing that everybody wants, Farajii, they want a handout. They want a discount, right? And
come on.
It's the same questions that we'll give Black businesses that we won't into a predominantly white-owned business. We won't ask for those same things, right? We won't do the dumb barter trade system when we go to those businesses. So I think just making sure that, one, we respect the value of Black businesses. Their prices are their prices. You might think it's high, you might think it's, but whatever. But if their quality is good, again, just like you do any business, I think you should pay for what you're getting. And so I think that's first and foremost. I think two, we really need to champion our businesses in our communities. We want our businesses, Farajii, in our communities. Far too often, other minority groups will get, grants and things of that nature to open businesses and not our own. I think we have to make sure we continue to shine a spotlight on that. If you have a friend that's doing a business, push it, promote it, do whatever you can, again, to make sure that business, is successful. Make sure that business is coming into your community. If you live in a predominantly Black community, I would ask you, how many Black-owned businesses do you have there? And just really think about it. And again, your community should be a reflection, I think, of the businesses within it. If your answer is not, equivalent to how many Black people are in that community, I'd say, again, you have to ask questions and figure out how it should be there. And then I think, honestly, the third thing when it comes to Black business is really just understanding it. I think one thing we can do is educate ourselves. We have to educate ourselves on business. And I know some people might say, well, I'm not taught it in school, or I didn't, graduate from a business school. You don't have to do all that to understand business. There's so many free resources right now, Farajii, out there to understand how to start a business, how to support a business, and many of those different things. So all in all, to say, again, educate yourselves now to, again, for either start your own business or to support another business. The resources are out there. It's out there for the taking right now. We're hearing so much about DEI. Make people stay true to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Make sure that they're keeping their promises, their commitments to diversity, equity, and inclusion. So again, it's out there. Research it, know it, and support your Black-owned businesses. Don't support it just during, the Black-owned food months that we see in so many different cities. Black business it's so diverse. It's so broad. There's so many. Do your research. Even now, it's easy to support it now more than ever because you can get right online. I'm somebody, for instance, that like Etsy, and there's a lot of great Black-owned business owners on Etsy.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Specifically, right? So that's why I said educate yourself. It's very easy. It's very easy to get this knowledge.
Absolutely. Folks, we're going to take a quick pause. Let's get like a quick pause and come back with Kelsey Nicole Nelson, who is a award-winning sports entertainment journalist. She's also the president and CEO of founder of Krypton LLC, media and communications consulting company, and so much more as we celebrate National Black Business Month for the month of August. Stay with us. It's The Culture on the Black Star Network.
For decades, the tobacco industry has deliberately targeted Black communities and kids with marketing for menthol cigarettes. It's had a devastating impact on Black health. Tobacco use claims 45,000 Black lives every year. It's the #1 cause of preventable death. In the 1950s, less than 10% of Black smokers used menthol cigarettes. Today, it's 85%. Menthol cools and numbs the throat, making it easier for kids to start smoking. Menthol also increases addiction, making it harder for smokers to quit. Menthol cigarettes are a big reason why Black Americans have a harder time quitting smoking and die at higher rates from smoking-related diseases like cancer, heart disease, and stroke. It's time to stop Big Tobacco from profiting off Black lives. An FDA ban on menthol cigarettes will improve Black health, save lives, and protect future generations from addiction. Learn more at tobaccofreekids.org/ban menthol.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. We have been talking to my sister, Kelsey Nicole Nelson, who is an entrepreneur. She's an award-winning journalist. She's a sports reporter. She's been working in the space of sports and business for years now and has made a name for herself. She's also the founder and president of Books Breaking Borders, Books to End Educational Bankruptcy, which is a community action project under her. She's doing a lot as we talking about celebrating Black businesses for the month of August. Kelsey, we got a few moments left. What is the big thing that you want us to take away? Because people have said this. I'm going to share with you very quickly what our one of our crew members, C.A. Pullen, said. We have to change the mindset that if any Black business screw up, it's not all Black businesses. We have to stop that thinking. I think that is one of the big challenges, and I might be wrong on this, Kelsey, but I feel like that's one of the big challenges that has prohibited us from really putting all of our efforts and resources behind Black business, because we've been scarred from a previous Black business owner. And therefore, we may not want to admit it, but we just like, nah, I don't want to do it. Either we have been personally scarred, or we heard some story, or more importantly, the prices for products and services.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, nah, see, if I go down the street to so-and-so, they can get me a better deal. So help us to understand, how do we break through those initial initial signs of resistance against Black businesses to get to a better place?
I think it goes back to us having a standard for everything that we do, because you're right. Again, when it comes to Black business, it seems like we give a higher standard than we do to other businesses. And yes, we've all been scarred by multiple businesses. Actually, how I started my own media communications consulting firm was because I had hired somebody to do work for Farajii, and it was bad work. And so essentially, it's like, I can do better. And essentially, that's kind of what spurred me to start my first business, right? And obviously, that's kind of taken off from there. So I think there's always a lesson to be learned. And my thing, too, was like, hey, I want to show people, how I feel like things should be done. But all in all to say, it's kind of like going to a restaurant, right? You went to a restaurant, it might be your favorite restaurant. Maybe one time the food was bad. Is that going to stop you? No, because they have a legacy, I would say, of obviously providing good service and good food. I think the biggest thing, though, is, again, we have to give people a chance, and we can't bring baggage to any new relationships that we're doing. I think we like to think that everybody does deserve a fair chance. And I think also just remember, something I have to share. I recently went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and, got a great story and got to be on the street of Black Wall Street, which is now reduced to just a block, which is so sad. But something that stuck with me was that they said the dollar circulated 27 times in the 36 blocks, right, of Black Wall Street. I'm gonna say that again. That's powerful. The dollar circulated 27 times in 36 blocks. All right. Think of a neighborhood block. And you know why Black Wall Street was so powerful? Was because they have multiple Black businesses and the dollar stayed there. When you think about many of our communities, we want to empower our communities. The way to empower communities is monetarily, right? It's through business, it's through growth. It has to start somewhere. And I'd say, better now. And why not start today than tomorrow? Because as we know, our Black communities, let's be honest, many of them are hurting, right? Many of them are hurting. They're not getting the investments that they should be getting. And when you support Black business, I think also we have to think about what that also spurs. Usually that money spurs into our education system. I think we all know our education system. You talked about my organization, Books Breaking Borders, Books to End Educational Bankruptcies. The dollars that go to that help to make sure that our babies can read and write. So again, when you spur Black business, you're spurring the community. And when you spur a community, you're empowering communities, and empowered communities are strong communities. They're ones that get respected, and they're ones where the people get what they deserve. So all in all to say, give Black business a chance. If you had a bad experience, guess what? There's a million more. There's about over 3 million Black businesses right now in the country alone. You can't tell me because of one, you're not going to try the other ones, Farajii. So
that's a great point.
Another one, and let's support each other better now than ever. And it goes back to your point about Alabama. We are stronger when we're unified together.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth, Kelsey? Well, I truly appreciate you. Kelsey, how can people get in contact with the work that you're doing? You're doing a phenomenal job. Y'all, Kelsey is everywhere. So how can people connect with you and stay up to date?
Well, thank you so much. Again, enjoyed being here with you. And thank you for giving me a platform to talk about being a Black woman business owner. You can find me on my website, KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Happy to talk business, sports, whatever people want to talk about, bring it to me. Happy to help you start your own business. I'll refer you to people who can help as well. But again, don't be afraid of it. Support as much Black business as you can, because if we won't do it, who will? Can't wait to connect with you.
Come on. Oh, absolutely. Kelsey, I appreciate you for giving your expertise. And most importantly, Kelsey, thank you for being so good for the culture. Talk to you soon. All right, folks. Bye-bye. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. I thank each and every one of you for joining the conversation. Big shout out to the Online Culture crew, man. The crew and the chat today was explosive. So many of you have checked in, and there we go. There we go. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. Big shout out to my production team. I want to thank my man, Chris, for making it sound so good. My man, King Keenan, who's doing the job, man. Woo! King Keenan always holding us down. Joel and Shannon, thank you. And of course, I want to thank Big Brother Roland Martin for the opportunity. Stay tuned at 6 p.m. Roland Martin Unfiltered is coming right at you. Of course, more conversation, more coverage about what we've seen, what happened in Montgomery, and what the next steps will be. But I want to go to something very quickly as we close out. I see that my crew is always checking in. My sister Lana, she posted something that this is, we got to keep applying pressure. And she said, how do we use this energy in politics around reparations? I see a revolution coming. That's the only big point I was trying to get across, Delana, and to the crew. Look, if we got energy to put some hands on somebody, we should have energy to break down some of these walls and these systems that have been destroying us, not for no, just for a day, for years. Let's use that same energy to challenge some of the bigger things that we see need to happen. So I appreciate you, Lana, for saying that as well. All right, folks, make sure y'all do your due diligence. Support us here at blackstarnetwork.com. Go to the website today. We're asking for financial donations because your donations make the difference in making sure that we keep our news and information relevant, make sure it's culturally refined, and more importantly, make sure that it is from you, about you, always having you in mind. So your support means everything. Go to blackstarnetwork.com. You can give today. Also, download the app for free on all of your devices, and then follow us on all social media platforms. And while you're there on social media, make sure you go to check me out, The Real Farajii, on Instagram, Farajii on Twitter, and of course on Facebook. And I would love to connect with you on there. All right, folks, as always, never be afraid to challenge what's wrong. Stand for what's right while being yourself in the process. God willing, we will talk tomorrow. Got my sister Suzette Speaks coming in on tomorrow. So God willing, we'll talk tomorrow for another exciting edition of The Culture right here, only here, exclusively here, the Black Star Network and Amazon News. Stay with us. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.